This week, Stogie Geeks episode 284, we have the opportunity live in studio to interview Kevin Gold from Rockefeller Cigars. You might have heard of them. They're going through a bit of a rebirth. We're going to hear about all of the story. And then our second segment, we have the opportunity to interview Nesta Plasencia. You don't want to miss a second of today's show. And of course, if I get a little teary-eyed, I apologize in advance. This will be Aaron's last appearance for round one of him here on Stogie Geeks. Right now, coming up on this edition of the Stogie Geeks Show.
This is a Security Weekly production. Broadcasting live from G-Unit Studios in Rhode Island, it's the show where cigars burn slow, ashes fall fast, and cocktails flow steady. It's the Stogie Geek Show. Welcome, everyone, to the Stogie Geek Show. Joe and I are already silly.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Hozempa, a.k.a. Joe Hollywood, is here with me in studio.
I'm fired up.
And Vintage Cigar Club, located in Warwick, Rhode Island, is a great place to enjoy a drink and a cigar. Stogie Geeks listeners can find a $5 off coupon on our website by clicking the HCC logo.
Episode 284, Stogie Geeks. I'm your host right here in studio, Joe Hozempa. Thank you for joining us. We also have in studio the legend, the 5-week legend.
It's been a long run, and it's been a good run, Joe. It's been a good run.
We're going to have to take some time out before the end of this show to talk about your incredible 5 weeks here. You have spent 4 weeks with me and 5 weeks total with the staff. You had the opportunity in between that to go to Vegas, which you came back with a little bit of the swine flu or something. The post-conference flu for sure. I'm your host, Joe Hozempa. We have 2 segments today here on Stogie Geeks. You don't want to miss a second. Right now we have in studio, we have Kevin Gold. So if you're looking for him on Facebook, you got to go to Kevin Gold. How do you pronounce your real name that's on the bio of your website?
Schweitzer.
Kevin Schweitzer of Rockefeller Cigars. Kevin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
No, thank you.
Looking forward to being here.
Yeah, thank you for stopping by. Had the opportunity from a cigar consumer. I frequent cigar shops, go to a bunch of cigar shops. Most of them are here in the Northeast. 90% of them, obviously, are right here in the Providence Metro. Highly concentrated area for cigars. There's 38 cigar shops in a geographical area where you can drive over under an hour if there's no traffic. And I'm starting to see Rockefeller pop up. Now, 2 things come to mind. Rockefeller was a brand that I've known from way back when. And then there is a rebirth of Rockefeller, which you are in charge of.
Right.
So let's take us through that. How you got started in a cigar, how you got started with this venture, and we'll take them through some of your blends.
Okay, well, I've always loved smoking cigars. I started smoking cigars when I was 19 years old. I was looking for a brand to buy. Mm-hmm. We don't have to go into the whole past of the company.
Sure.
But I bought the brand, and it was based out of Tabacalera LNV, which is Tamboril in the Dominican Republic. Mm-hmm. And I smoked the cigars, and they were very good. And we still have a ton of customers that like them. However, I thought that I also needed another brand, another blend, more Nicaraguan flavored, because I love to smoke Nicaraguan cigars.
Mm-hmm. So originally they were Dominican blend.
They were Dominican blend.
Yep, and then now you carry both, but you focus on Nicaraguan.
Well, right. So I started going to Nicaragua, and I went down and I met the blender. It was an American Caribbean Cigars who make our cigars in Nicaragua and Esteli. And I sat with him. And we had these cigars out for a very brief time in 2014 and 15. Mm-hmm. So I kind of re-released the cigars. So I went down, sat with him, and worked with him with the blends. Mm-hmm. He's a great guy. His name is Lolito. And Damien, who owns part of the factory. Mm-hmm. And we sat down, and we talked. And I said, I want everyone to smoke this cigar, because once I started smoking it, I was like, wow, this is really good. Mm-hmm. So everyone should enjoy this. Mm-hmm. It's similar to my palate. It's way more of my palate.
Sure.
So that's what happened.
A couple of things came up from there. I have been in the cigar industry in a bunch of different facets. Used to own a retail store, did a cigar radio show. Now we're here doing a podcast. I was a rep for a short period of time, so I know what it's like to be on the road. and to be on the road and bang on a door and say, hey, try my stick. So 23 years of multiple facets for there. Wasn't because I could have found a fit. From a business perspective, it just didn't make sense for me at the particular time of what I was doing.
Right.
You know? So you raise a couple of things. When I talk about my tenure of 23 years of cigars and whatnot, there really is true Nicaraguan boom.
Right.
Now, I know some of the sponsors of the show or some of the classic facings that from the Dominican Republic, and I'll get all the hate email saying, Nicaragua and the product that has come out of there. I've said this here on the show since the beginning of time. If you were to take a pie chart in all of the cigar industry and divide it up per country, Nicaragua is getting more and more of that pie chart space for there. So when you started this brings me to my question, right? I want to elaborate for the Stogie Geeks listener. Did you have that in mind? Like, did you think country first and then specific blend of product, or what concepts did you have when you were talking about the rebirth of Rockefeller Cigars?
So I started Nicaraguan first because a lot of the Cuban blenders went to Nicaragua. The only difference with the Nicaraguan cigars and the Cuban cigars is they sit in the pilon a lot longer than they do. In Cuba, they get them out for high demand.
Sure.
Okay? But remember, I was also a trader. So I thought still there was an opportunity in Nicaragua. The market was just starting to boom, and it made a lot of sense.
What year was this, off the top of your head?
2000, when I took over the company, was 2 years ago, 2015, 16.
Okay, yep. So there was already a
boom starting.
A big boom. I think it started a couple years before that.
Probably
for
2014.
Sure.
Yeah,
2014. But right now, if you go to any trade show or you start looking at some of the hot new brands,
right?
These are my numbers. 80% of them are Nicaraguan.
Right.
It is what it is. Now, a lot of that has to deal with, okay, maybe because we don't have Cubans here, we don't have access to Cubans here,
right,
etc. We have access to Cubans here, and we have friends that travel and all of that stuff. And I know from my experience and from the people that I surround myself with, even if you put the Cubans in that mix, Nicaraguans is really where it's at.
I agree.
I mean, Aaron, you've had up until 5 weeks ago. You've only smoked Cubans. Yeah. What has been your experience with, Paul and I know it's been a whirlwind, so I'm going to, sorry to put you on the spot, but your last show I'm putting you on the spot, right? What has it been your experience for you as a cigar consumer to now be exposed to Nicaraguan blends?
I guess now that sort of I've been awakened to sort of cigars coming from different countries, as we say, the Nicaraguan and the Dominicans, and they don't only compare to the Cubans. They have a price point that's a lot better than the Cubans, but they also they've opened up a lot more flavor to me. I think maybe I've been stuck in a bit of a flavor rut and maybe smoking only a few brands like Upmanns, Monte Cristos, especially Cohibas being a real premium Cuban brand. And you go and you buy your cigars and you're sort of more or less just given a menu of Cuban cigars. So it's just really opened my eyes to the fact that there's other cigars out there. And what I'm really excited about, Kevin, is the fact that I believe that you're taking Rockefeller's international. So I'm really interested to hear about that and hear about your marketing of that, hear about your price point, hear about how you're going to compete with Cubans and people that, other than the real aficionados, people like myself that have only had Cubans, and how you're going to take me away from the Cubans and have me pick up your sticks.
Yeah, it's actually a good question, and then we'll get to some others about what we're smoking as well. So
okay, cool.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Well, you're going for the international market, getting out there.
So last year we trademarked in Europe.
Okay.
So now we're trademarked in Europe, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, and the United States.
Okay.
Okay. The other thing I did when I took over the company immediately, changed all the boxes, all the labeling. I want it to be really, really special. And we still constantly keep changing.
Yeah, if anybody wants to look for the website, and if anybody has their laptops or phones with them while they're watching and listening, if you look at www.vrcgcigars.com, they've got a really slick, really classy website there. And Yeah, you can even, if you've got touch screen, you can open the boxes and see what's
Yeah, you can
inside.
That's so
Open
awesome.
them.
That's
Yeah,
such a cool feature.
Yeah, it's
You
cool.
know? Yeah, for sure. What you and I are smoking the Lancero.
Right. The
Kevin and
Nicaraguan
myself.
Lancero is re-released. Yeah.
And then Aaron had smoked the Maduro, and now he's working his way through the Habano Robusto.
Correct.
Take us through those blends.
Okay, so the the Maduro Lancero was a 7x38 San Andreas wrapper. It's got Ometepe, Jalapa Esteli, and Pennsylvania broadleaf in it. So it's all full flavor. We use the Viso leaf too, because we want the flavor to come strictly from the Viso, the strength from the Viso, from the full flavor. So we don't use Lajero.
That was my next question. Is with the Lajero, did you decide to just shy away from that? Take us through. Okay, you've done all the trademarks. You got a vision. You're taking over the brand.
Right.
You're giving rebirth to a vintage brand.
Right.
Right. Because Rockefeller has been around since what, early 1900s, right?
The name, yeah.
Yeah, sure. Right. So okay, and then from there, you have all this in your head. What were you looking from a blending process?
Right.
What were you?
Again, I said it was
You had the opportunity to travel.
Right.
Down there.
Right.
Or sideways. No.
Right.
Down there. Right. And then take us through some of your thoughts when some of the test blends that maybe might not have met the market as well.
Well, the test blends, a lot of them didn't have the full flavor I wanted. So I wanted that special flavor. So this has a little bit of cocoa from the Pennsylvania broadleaf, dark espresso notes. Then it's got a little citrus from the Ometepe. The Jalapa makes it strong, and the Esteli is very good in it. And the San Andreas wrapper leaves real no aftertaste.
Yeah.
So to me, that is what I wanted. So that's what our Maduro is based on. Our Habano is a little different. It's got a little Dominican Piloto Cabano in it, which gives it a little kick. An Ecuadorian Habano wrap is still with Jalapa and Esteli in it.
You just lit the Habano, so I'll ask you about your opinion there. You just had the Maduro before, so what were your original takeaways from that?
Yeah, so I was lucky enough to go through to the cigar bar next door and get presented with a whiskey and a cigar, and just immediately receiving it, I just felt quality in my hands. And after I took the Selfie wrapper off and I felt it, it's like you could tell it was really, really well rolled. And when I lit it, it lit up really, really nice, absolutely full of flavor. It's like there was some really, really good pepper in there, and I find that in pairing with a whiskey, it really complemented it. For
Absolutely.
Me, with a bit of a junior palate, it would be a great cigar to smoke in the evening with a really good whiskey, because it's so full of flavor. It's not taken away from the whiskey, and the whiskey also didn't take away from the cigar. I smoked it all really quickly, and it went down really, really well. And the flavor profile the whole way through was brilliant. I more or less smoked it until I burnt my fingers.
Right.
And the flavor right at the end was, I think it was consistent the whole way through, but I was getting a really good draw, and the flavor was there, and there was a really good sort of aftertaste of it. It was just a really, really nice cigar, and I can see me sat outside at home with a whiskey on a warm evening, and just spending 45 minutes and just really enjoy the time with that cigar.
Yeah, absolutely. I think another reason why it burnt through you cut it with the guillotine. I'm a fan of the V cut myself. Slow it down a little bit. But we're smoking the Lancero, and what I'm noticing is when you originally have it, you get a slight hint of pepper, right? Some black pepper, not overbearing at all. It doesn't have what I dub as that Nicaraguan bite sometimes. Some Nicaraguan sticks, if the tobacco is not ready especially, it can have a bite to it. Right? But I asked Kevin right before we started, I'm picking up a sweetness, and I can't really define it. It's not cocoa.
It's a little citrus.
It wasn't salt. It was different. And you said it was
Probably Ometepe.
Yeah, can you say that without sticking your mouth?
Sorry. I'm just so used to having a cigar all the time.
Right.
Probably the Ometepe.
Yep. Yep. Take
Brings a
us
little
through
sweetness.
now. You had the opportunity to be.
We don't use that much ometepe, just the perfect amount.
Yeah. Yeah. So take us through that rationality. Like you like.
I wanted it to be a little complex, but not a lot complex, because I want it to fit everyone's palate.
Okay.
I've
Now-
had guys who smoke 6x60s that swear they would never smoke a Lancero, start smoking the Lancero, and they love the Lancero. Like, wow, I can't believe I never tried a smaller stick. Now, for me, the Lancero is my favorite size.
Yes.
One, because I used to smoke the Goya Habana #2 that's discontinued back in the day, which was a Lonsdale, which was a terrific smoke.
Yes. Yeah.
When they sat in the Pilon back then.
Yeah, we're here on the Stogie Geeks show. I could say this for many hosts have said this. The average cigar consumer that goes into a shop or even shops online doesn't really flock to the Lancero sides that much as they would Robusto Toro Gordo, right? Because that's it. It's always Robusto Toro Gordo. When I owned the shop, it was Robusto Toro Churchill. Gordos weren't even around. It was the late 90s.
2000s.
And if they were like, who the heck would smoke it that big? Right. If I want that much tobacco, I'll get a pipe tobacco, right? Anyway, it's amazing how the consumers have changed, right? So do you make bigger sizes?
Yes. So
okay, so we'll get there. In regards to Lancero, they're so tasty, and yet the consumers shy away from them. What has been your experience with some of the shops that you're in? Is it always Robusto Toro Gordo?
So there seems to be a Lancero craze now. And I'm proud to say ours is almost #1 on the market.
Take me through that Lancero craze, because we interview people here week in and week out, right? And out of, I don't know, we do 48 episodes a year, 44 episodes a year. 2 of them,
right,
thus far this year, have said Lanceros are coming back. Lanceros are coming back.
It's like a Lancero craze.
Where?
No, I've been seeing it.
Yep. So is it
in different markets? I've been seeing
okay,
it.
so that was my market question. Is it in different geographical, like
Mid-Atlantic? I've seen it.
Okay.
Where I never thought they'd smoke a Lancero, but they're
Sure.
starting to smoke Lanceros.
Yeah.
New York.
Yep.
Which is all 6x60.
Yeah.
They're loving Lanceros now. And more of the shops now are carrying different Lanceros, which they haven't done that in years.
I know shops. It's like amazing when they do an order with you guys or any vendor. They get Robusto Toro Gordo if you have it, and then maybe, however the deal is constructed, you give them a box of Lanceros, or you discount a box, or however it works.
Right.
I don't want to know the details because everybody's different, right? But my point is, Robusto Toro Gordo go off the shelf, and then 3-4 months or weeks, depending on the shop, traffic-wise, they say, these Lanceros are just not moving, yet we're out of Robusto Toro Gordo. What drives me crazy as an ex-cigar shop owner and as a cigar consumer is that, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that your customers blew out of, in some way, shape, or form, your Robusto Toro Gordos? Why are they shying away, consumer behavior-wise, from the Lanceros? No. Oh, are there any Rockefellers left? No, we only have these Lanceros. I'm going to go get a Robusto Toro Gordo
By the way,
X.
there's another reason. There's also a lot more women smokers, which I think is great.
Yes.
And they seem to love the Lancero size.
Yeah.
Which is another reason why I think I've been seeing a lot of Lanceros from different companies.
Like, I don't know if consumer-wise, and if you have a comment on this, you can go to Joe H at StogieGeeks.com, or you can note us over there on the Facebook, and the producer will let me know if you're watching this live. But, I don't know. Like, what do you think? Like, I don't mind. Like, I smoke cigars in all different sizes. Usually my only exception is a Gordo. Unless, like, for me to have a Gordo, I'll be perfectly candid with everyone here and in the audience. It's a sponsored cigar, and I'm forced to review it because the sponsor wants my expectations for it. But if I'm Joe Hozempa, non-Stogie Geek cigar smoker, I'm going to go towards a Robusto, a Lancero, maybe even a, dare I say, Petite Corona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'd rather have 3 small cigars than one gigantic one throughout my day. But that's just me.
I'm the same way, but every once in a while I smoke a Toro Gordo.
Yeah.
I make them, so I want to smoke them.
Okay, sure. Well, that makes sense.
So on Medora line, we have 6 Vitolas and 5 in the other 2 blends.
My next question. Your sizes. So you have...
we have a Toro.
You have the Toro.
Robusto.
Torpedo.
Churchill.
Yep, Churchill.
Toro Gordo.
Yep.
And now Lancero.
Yep. And your 60 is a 60 ring gauge on the Gordo?
6x60.
6x60. Yep. Okay. Do the torpedoes do good?
Yeah, we use them mostly for event only. But yeah, actually the torpedoes are doing okay too.
Yeah, I think the torpedoes are starting to make a comeback too.
Right.
For sure. And like I said, it just drives me nuts from a consumer perspective. Like, you like this brand. Your consumers are blown through it. Why are they not? They'll go on to another kind of thing. Oh, I need, and then they'll call you, right? Now I'm playing devil's advocate. We need more Robusto Toro Gordo. And they're like, how'd you do on the sales? They're not selling. That's a that's where the retail shop needs to take the onus and educate his or her consumer.
Right.
And say, hey, you should try these Lanceros. I mean, what do you think, Aaron? You think people try Lanceros and stuff like that? Or
yeah, it's like, I think if you're just smoking one particular of the cigars, it's like the price point's really good. So why shouldn't you branch out and try the others? No, it's like you might get a really nice shock, and if you don't, you can always go back to what you know. But you should definitely be trying them.
Yep. Now, if you want to get Stogie Geek, right, the Stogie Geek component of this, most of your flavor, conceptually, when you're smoking a cigar, any cigar, comes from the wrapper.
Yep.
Now, physics or engineering would tell you that if you're smoking a Lancero, right? Go with me on this, Kevin. Tell me I'm full of shit, right? Right? Freaking, because Paul does when he's here, right? No, most of the components in Lancero is less binder and filler and more wrapper. So logic would tell you that it's going to be more flavorful.
Right.
And it's going to bring out the flavor of the particular stick of whatever the brand is.
Correct.
100%. Do you find the different sizes, there's a sort of better time of day that you would sort of prefer to have the sort of different flavors throughout the day? Or is it just completely personal choice?
It's a personal choice. I mean, I smoke a Lancero all the time, but I always smoke Toros too. So it's pretty personal, I guess.
Yeah. So you don't smoke
but
a lot
I like
of Robustos?
I like a good Churchill too every once in a while.
Yep.
Of course, I smoke a lot of Robustos because I'm going into the shops. That's why I smoke with them. You know what I mean? I always go in with a Robusto.
Especially if they ain't buying El Petit Corona. I'm out of here. When you were doing the blending, all right, this is I ask this question a lot. It's a curiosity factor. I also think that the Stogie Geeks listener likes to flock to that size. So when you're doing your Maduro and you're doing your Connecticut and you're doing your Habano line, okay, when you created a blend, did you start with one size and say that's the flavor?
No.
And does it toggle in between each blend?
No, so I would have to try samples
Okay.
of all different sizes to see this change of the blends. Because like you said, a 6x60 is more filler than it is wrapper.
Right.
And you're definitely going to have a change.
Right.
And I have a whole dedicated team in American Caribbean that just concentrates on Rockefeller cigars. So I sat with them and worked with them on it.
So they changed the blend.
So I couldn't go with a
inter SKU, right? Each
right.
SKU.
Each SKU has a different percentage of each tobacco.
That's
correct.
what I was asking. So each SKU has a different percentage of tobacco to have it smoke the same.
Right.
As close as the same, because it is a handmade product, of course. As close as it is the same for the blend profile.
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Some companies
so I want to
claim
make sure,
they do that.
So
I can just rattle off a BS, like, you know what I mean? But you can tell.
But you know the truth of the matter is you have to be down there.
Yeah.
So I've gone down there a lot, right? Lately it's been crazy down there, but I'm probably going again in September.
Yeah.
Even though everyone says don't go, I'm going, right? So the point of the matter is you got to be really hands-on with them and make sure it's done perfectly. Because if you're not, one cigar could be good, another one could be bad. It's inconsistent. That's why I have a special team that works strictly on my blend. I made sure of that.
So Kevin, that's what I've been really impressed by. The amount of times that you told me that you've been out the country to watch the manufacture and to smoke the cigars. And I guess that will show through in the consistency of the cigars.
100%.
Yeah, it's really impressive.
And I test smoke them when I'm down there too. Absolutely.
Yeah, hands on, because ultimately you got to look at this from a business perspective, right? Kevin's their customer.
Yeah.
They don't roll cigars for us, the consumer.
Right.
Kevin, or the owner of Cigar Company X, right? But Kevin, in this case, they have to appease to what he says. He's their customer. He's buying X amount of cigars from that lot from them. They appease to him, and then he says, okay, that's quality enough for my company to now distribute to wherever he can distribute.
This is probably a hard question, Kevin, but have you ever been down there and they've given you a sample and you're like, that does not meet the quality line, I want you to change
It's not that it doesn't meet the quality, because the quality is there.
Always, yeah.
Maybe I'm not happy with something with the flavor or the wrapper, you know what I mean? So I have to pick out the actual leaf and go through it.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, love it.
Yeah.
And then rather than the Cuban cigars, they're hanging them, maturing them for a lot longer.
A lot longer. They sit in the pilon, where Cuba used to sit in the pilon, the cigars.
Yeah.
And they don't anymore.
Okay.
Because the demand is so strong out of Europe, China.
Yeah.
So they just want them out.
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-show, you were talking about that, and then my email and phone would ring in, and I stepped away from that conversation. Can we circle back to that conversation? So, like, what you were having, it was to me, it was fascinating. But when the emails bing, 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 and the show's about to start, and I'm trying to do show prep and all that stuff. Take us through that of how long your cigars wait, why there's a difference.
Based on the blend, anywhere from 12 to 24 months in the pilon. Before they roll and then go into the aging room and sit again.
So 12 to 24 months.
Right, based on the different blends.
And as opposed
the gold
to
series a little longer, which is here.
We're gonna get Well, I'm gonna rip open that box right there. Right. See, he's very easy to interview. He knows the progress. Like we're ready to go. Right. Hold on. Right. So and then take it to some of the Cubans because of the demand and the worldwide structure other than the U.S.
I used to be a big Cuban smoker. I used to smoke the Epicures. I loved them.
Yeah.
The Bolivars. I loved them.
Yeah.
They just don't taste the same.
Yeah. And you think it's just because some of the product is rushed?
100%.
Yeah. Jumping back.
I mean, Bohickey. Bohickey is still great.
Yep.
Because it's not rushed.
Yeah. Jumping back. This happens a lot in our industry, right? Here it comes, right? This is the topic right here on Stogie Geeks that I'm mentioning that I have to give a disclaimer, because the views expressed in this opinion do not reflect Stogie Geeks management and or its management, right? It does reflect staff. I guess I'm staff now. I got to change my disclaimer, right? What happens in cigar world, right, is a company comes up in the market. It's a race to 250,000 sticks. Let's get that all out in the open, right? It's a race, right? So what happens is they come in and they mock it, and they go on this podcast, that podcast, they get it out in Cigar Press, they go to Cigar World, they go here, they go in Cigar Aficionado if the budget allows. Bing bang, it's a race to there. Whether or not they won the race or not, let's look at this from a business perspective. 250 sticks, people love them. They come on our show, we love them. They come on another show for other podcasts, they love them. Cigar Aficionado rates them very well. Bing, bang, boom. Okay, great. Here's where the business model comes in, right? We need that second batch of 250 sticks. By the way, we have, I'm making the numbers up, 80,000 of the 250 sticks on back order.
Right.
Because everybody loves this stick, and our marketing works so perfect, and our stick is so super awesome, and we're the hippest boutique of the year. And then here we go. Then what happens is they don't wait enough. Tobacco comes out. Then guess what happens?
It's inconsistent.
It's inconsistent. I mean, I can name 48 brands of that there. I mean, and then the ones that we interview here on the show that have been around for a while always just say, hey, we need that patience. And we're not going to, and the ones that, see, it's like a double-edged sword, right, in business, right? You need the product to fill for the consumers because they've already purchased it or agreed to purchase it. So that's money spent, right? You know about that with investing. We'll get there too,
yeah,
right?
I'm sure.
Right? So that's money spent, right? And then you want to fill the demand, but yet how do you release that quality? So where are you specifically, the Rockefeller, in that process? You know, because you have to make a business decision, right? If I wait 6 months, am I going to... What could happen?
When I took over
am I going to be forgotten?
So when I took over the company, right?
Yep.
I looked at it as a business. One, I love smoking cigars. I realized there's a lot of competition out there. I want to have a great product, right? What comes next? Good product, then you need distribution, right? So we set up how we made the boxes, how we did the bands, and then we started distribution, right? We started in New York. As the owner, I actually rep New York. Then I started going into the Mid-Atlantic, DFW, just hired a rep now. And he's not even in the cigar business, but that's the way I like it. You know what I mean? I build him up. That's how I did it on Wall Street for years. Teach him all about the business, and he's handling the whole Midwest now. We're talking to a guy now in Arizona, Colorado, Nevada, and Utah. And we're going to hit the Southeast probably starting in September. So I like my vision. I want to go international. That's next. I'm working with the Dominican factory on variations of the old blends that are great. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, you know, let's be honest. The whole thing, let's be straight. Forget the word honest. Let's be straight. Nicaragua, who knows what the hell's going to happen with Nicaragua?
Sure.
Cigars are great, and our Dominican cigars are great. So working with that factory gives me a hedge. I'm also looking to buy other brands to hedge against Nicaragua. But they have to be great quality, great product. I'll be traveling more, but I'm used to it from back in my gold days, right? So for that standpoint, I think it's very, very important. And again, you're right. Patience, quality, have enough tobacco, and key for a boutique brand is to carry a lot of inventory. It's a commodity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Having tobacco is better than money in the bank, in my opinion.
So this actually brings me on as someone that's just starting to set up their own humidor. And if I buy these by the box, it's like, obviously I'm going to smoke some straight away because they're great straight out of the box and you buy them. But how long should I be keeping them for? When should I be testing them? And
well, the fact that we use the Viso leaf, it's flavor right off the bat. So the longer you age a cigar, you lose strength, but you keep the flavor. I mean, I have cigars going back for years I've kept in my humidor that are great. I take them out for special occasions.
And as a
birthdays.
commodity, the price, I guess, is going up as well.
Always going to go up.
So I should be buying a load now. And,
I'm just saying.
I should be
It's always going to go up.
Yeah.
Tobacco always goes up.
Yeah.
No matter how you figure it.
Yeah, it's either going to go up for different components. Could be box, could be packaging.
Anything.
Could be distribution.
Right.
Transportation. Could be tariff. Could be, dare I say, FDA. Now, because how does FDA affect you? Are you pre-predicate date or no?
With Dominican factories,
Dominican is pre-predicate. The other one, then you have to go through your motions.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
we have a very good lawyer, though, in Miami.
Yeah.
Who's a lawyer for a certain amount of brands. I'm not going to mention him, obviously.
Sure.
But he's terrific.
Yeah.
And he's handled us. He's done a great job so far. I'm very happy about it.
My take on that, I've said this on, I'm so sick of this conversation. I've been having it since 2014 when I had Cigar Club Radio. I've been having it since I've been on Stogie Geeks, FDA. Can't interview someone here, especially if they're live, without talking about the FDA right quick. When they decide whatever goes down, pre-predicate date, post-predicate date, when it is, how it is, as a business owner, like anything else, you're forced to make a decision.
Right.
It is what it is, right?
Right.
If you're going to have to comply by law, right? And then you make a decision, and then you either cut down the brands, keep them all, whatever, if you structure it to pass it on to the consumer. There are some companies out there that their whole marketing is, when the S-chip came, we lowered our price to do that, to keep the price. Hey, you made a decision as a business owner.
Right.
That's not a marketing point.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, it's just not a market. And the funny thing is, a lot of Stogie Geeks listeners are like, oh, no, you didn't. Yeah, I did. I went there, right? And it's just like, it's one of those things where, you're going to have to force to make a decision. And I don't think my original stance then, it's my original stance now, is when they decide not to lump in premium handmade tobacco with OTB, other tobacco products, when they make that distinction, we're going to be regulated, no question. But I don't think it's going to be regulated in the way that, that number that they're throwing out.
I agree with you.
Now, the number they're throwing out, $250,000 a blend, $275,000 a blend, it's equal to the amount of the race to $250,000. Did you get that?
Yep.
So, worst case scenario, if a business owner wants to do this, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think it's going to happen. Like anything else, and pass the price on to the consumer.
Right.
So you're $1 more. If you look at the price of cigars, classic facings versus the boutique revolution that we're in now, if you look at the classic facings, their pricing is going up.
Yep.
Because when I owned the shop, the boutique cigars were cheaper, and the classic facings were more expensive. And now the boutiques are, $14 Robustos. Well, you're crazy.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's a business conversation. But again, I really think that the FDA, once it gets defined, you're just gonna have to make a decision, and then away you go. And then it'll be dust and echoes. But right now, just do business as usual.
Absolutely.
Because it could be. I mean, I remember back in 2014 having the conversation like, "Oh my God, by 2016, we're gonna be in so much trouble." We're in the same boat.
Right.
It's 2018.
I
You know what I mean? Either if you sat and waited, you've wasted 4 years in business.
True.
But if you just operated normal, then you figure it out as you go along. Let's talk about this.
So the Gold Series came out last year.
Yeah. So this is
Half Wheel gave us an 89 on it.
Rockefeller Vintage Gold. If I can get a little focus, there you go. Go for it.
It's double Maduro. It's basically aged a little longer than the other stuff. It's in a box press, San Andreas. And it's got 4 fillers. Same thing, Pennsylvania, Ometepe, Jalapa, and Esteli.
Brand new for you?
Yeah, no, brand new. No, we had the box press out.
Okay. Cool.
Again, very few people got it.
Yep. Now, did you make that exclusive per box order, or what was the...
No, not at all.
No?
But it's limited. We made 1,000 boxes, and the demand's coming back, so we might make more.
Yep. And you're willing to, as a business owner, taking care of this project and looking at future other projects of other brands.
Right.
You're looking to have that poise.
Correct.
In there. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Okay, you got it. Hold
I'm
me
gonna hold
to
you to it because then 2 years from now you're smoking these Rockefellers and you're like, you can tell he waited or he didn't.
Hold me to it.
Only time tells with that for sure.
100%.
Yeah. You have a question?
I don't have a question, but I have an observation. Currently, what I'm feeling about the box, the marketing, the presentation, the feel, everything about it feels like really good quality. And I like that in a cigar. No, it's like I want to feel part of the company. And I don't actually know what your price point on these are, but it could be high because it feels like a really good premium product.
How are you priced in the market? I don't
Pretty
even know
much
exact
depends on
price.
the region. With certain places have more taxes than everywhere else.
I get that, but are you in that range? What are you for a Robusto in the state of Rhode Island?
$9.
$9, yeah. So,
What's the
50
taxes
cents,
in the state of Rhode Island?
50
right?
cents is cap tax.
Right. Maybe not 10.
Yeah. So you're not
Maybe
a 14.
less, right.
You're not a $14
No,
Robusto.
Absolutely not.
$14.
No, I want it to be
Robusto.
wallet friendly. Absolutely not.
$14 Robusto, and we want our separate cabinet, and all that's yeah. There's only one cigar shop that's on a different planet.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Shout out to them. They've been watching the show. But yeah. Before the cigar industry,
Okay, yep.
you were in the and you still are to some extent, correct?
Right.
You're in the gold industry. Gold trading?
Gold trading. Went down to the actual mines.
Yeah.
All over Chile, Peru, Argentina.
You've been interviewed on some...
Barron's has interviewed me.
Yeah.
We actually made a great call going back to 2007 when my son was born.
Okay.
I got interviewed. They asked, where was gold going? And I think at the time it was, I don't know, 600, 620. I said it'll be 850 by December. Told me I was crazy. But I set up the carry trade for some international banks. And I kind of knew what was going on. It got to 848 in November.
Really?
The phone didn't stop ringing off the hook.
Yeah.
So my father did a lot of business in Canada when I was a kid.
Okay.
And back then, they didn't really watch their kids, what they're doing. He's moving around. He's doing his thing. I met up with some geologists, went up to the Red Lake District of Ontario. I was hooked.
Yeah.
First time I went into a mine, I was hooked. I was like, wow, this is amazing.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
So you go into a mine. I want a visual, right? I always ask about a visual, right? You go into a mine and the miners say this section's gonna yield X.
Remember, I was a kid, but yeah.
Yeah. How, what, 14,
Well,
15? 10, 11?
Yeah.
Okay.
13,
Right.
14, 15.
Okay, right. And
Since
so,
there, I've been up to Alaska. All
see, I
over.
read your bio, right? I'm in the region, right?
By the way, those places made Nicaragua look pretty nice. I mean, it was deemed dangerous, those places.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a weird
But
industry.
I loved it. I mean,
yeah, you just became hooked. You know?
Hooked.
Yeah. So you go in there, they yield this section.
Well, at that time, they were explaining everything to me.
Okay.
They explained to me when the gold price is high, they use the lower grade ore, or when the gold price is low, they use the higher grade ore. Mm-hmm. They explained all that to me.
Yeah.
I was just fascinated.
Yeah.
Think about a little kid, right?
Yeah.
Looking at silver, gold.
Yeah. And
And based
get
on
it.
the region, when you dig for gold, you get byproducts of copper, silver. It varies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean,
And now, go ahead. Sorry.
no, I can relate to when it's impressionism, right?
Right.
When you're you get impressed by something, and you don't have necessarily have to be a little kid, but you get impressed by something, and then you start to gather the concepts of it, and then when you gather the concepts of it, you say, "Wow, I think I can pursue something in this industry." You know what I mean? And I take it back to my first experience. Professional experience. I had an opportunity to work for a congressman for Rhode Island House of Representatives in D.C., but I was in the Rhode Island office, and he became a senator in the Senate and all that stuff. There was a transition period. But my takeaways from that is like, wow, like I loved commerce. You know what I mean? And what I liked about it is because my takeaways were, when you talk about being impressed, were, wow, I work with this guy, Don, and he was talking about, this section being built. We call it Quonset Point here in Rhode Island. And it was like a deserted airfield. And they were talking about putting like tech jobs in there and solar and all wind power. This is the early 90s, right? Like solar power. You mean to tell me like, you know what I mean? Because, we needed, Narragansett Electric. It's pre-national grid, right? And I'm like, wow, like this is fascinating. And then I left commerce. And then you look at the numbers.
Right.
And then you're like, wow, like if this really happens, there's going to be 15 companies employing, I don't know, 138 people per square foot or however it is. And I was like, I just became fascinated with commerce, and that's why I tailor into the business stuff.
Gold has been money for 5,000 years. It's always been money. The Egyptians buried themselves, the pharaohs buried themselves with gold, thinking in the afterlife they would have gold.
Right.
You find someone who passed away years ago, you find gold in their garage. The gold rush. There's nothing like gold fever when it gets going. Everyone thinks now because of cryptocurrencies, because of Bitcoin, gold's forgotten. Because the younger generation, they'd rather have digital money than gold. What are they going to do with gold? It's an old relic. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, everyone should have 5% of their portfolio in gold and hope they never have to use it. Yeah. Right? So when gold spiked and went to 1900, what did happen? It happened when everyone was worried about the government. And that's what happens.
Yeah.
It's not so much that wars make gold go higher. It's usually when people are worried about the government.
Wow. Branding wise, that why you have gold.
That's exactly why I called it the Gold Series. 100%.
just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
Awesome. You have something you want to add, Aaron?
No, I'm really enjoying this cigar. I'm
You got a hell of an ash on that thing.
Yeah,
beautiful ash. Show it up. Let everyone see that ash.
That's awesome.
I'm kind of well known of dropping it on the floor, but
show it up again. You're closer. There you go.
It's okay.
That's right. If you ash on it, Paul does it all the time. I'm a short ash guy. Like
Me too. That's why I'm sitting next to the ashtray.
I'm always like, whatever. I don't, and it's.
I kind of feel that I want to be sat in my chair with my whiskey and my smoking jacket on, and I just want the ash to drop. I don't want to have to think about sort of
let it happen naturally.
Yeah, just let it happen naturally.
Yeah. So we have about 5 minutes left or so. Take us through what the future holds for Rockefeller. By the way, the website that you can go to if you can't understand Aaron's hoarse voice or accent. You can throw Rockefeller Cigars into Google and you can get it that way. Or you can go to VRCGcigars.com. What does VRCG stand for?
Vintage Rockefeller Cigar Group.
Vintage Rockefeller Cigar Group. So VRCGcigars.com. You can check out all the stuff.
It's a really beautiful website.
Right. You can read Kevin's bio. I'm sure if you contact him via email there, if you are a retailer and you want to look into Rockefeller, let Kevin know that you did hear about him here on Stogie Geeks. Maybe he'll hook you up, right? Or he'll send us a couple samples and say thanks. Right?
Why not?
Either way, it's a win-win for everyone. So what's the future? What do you see rounding out 2018?
All right, so 2 years ago, we wanted to start getting internationally 2 years from now, and that's exactly what we did, right? So we want to be in about 30 countries next year. Hopefully, if everything goes right, again, everything takes time. We want to be in more markets. We're in about 3 or 4 markets now. We want to be throughout the U.S. And that's the future. That's what we plan on doing. We plan on keeping the quality control on the cigars, keeping the prices right for the consumer. Because I know as a cigar smoker, when I was young, when I first started, I wanted a good cigar at a cheaper price. Obviously, years later, that's changed.
Sure.
And prices go up, taxes go up, FDA user fees go up. But we want to do our best to make sure the consumer is happy and enjoy our product. But that's our vision. We plan on being around a long time.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So when will I be able to buy these in London?
Hopefully next year.
Right. Amazing. And so what will
If
be...
you give me your address, I'll send you a bundle anyway to Ireland.
Either that or you get him into a shop and then he'll send you some other stuff too.
Exactly.
You also said something.
Go ahead.
I kind of want to end on this there. Your rationality when you were looking at particular brokers, because you are hiring. Is that correct?
I am hiring.
Yep, you are hiring. So again, you can go to vrcgcigars.com. You can email Kevin. Let him know you heard about this here on the show. If you are existing in the industry or whatever, you can, let him know whatever your resume is. But you mentioned that, which I thought was kind of interesting, because it relates to a business platform here at Security Weekly and Stogie Geeks as well. You hired someone outside of the industry,
right?
Or you take a closer look. I don't want to put
so
words
it's the
in
same
your mouth.
quality control on the cigars.
Yep.
That I wanted the brokers or reps that are going to handle my cigars. Same thing.
And now, was that your methodology when you were into gold for that?
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
Same thing.
So,
I haven't changed.
So you think it's better to hire someone outside of the industry there
Correct.
to mold them, no pun intended with the gold, right? To mold them and to roll them, no pun intended with the cigars, to kind of cultivate them to represent the company that...
Kid who worked for me on Wall Street was a bouncer at a bar. Turned out being a major success. You know what I mean? Knew nothing about Wall Street. Another kid who worked for me, same exact thing.
Yeah. What's your... I
like teaching. I love teaching.
Yeah.
About something I know.
Yeah, it's part of the business model.
But you always got to stay teachable, too.
True.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can tell you that you're teachable because you go down to Nicaragua, not only to check up on the quality, but I'm sure there's a huge educational component on that.
And Dominican Republic too.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, that's how it's done here at Security Weekly. Sometimes Paul takes the liberty of saying, you're not so much into the cybersecurity field or whichever, or computer security. However, you got a great business acumen or a good skill set. So let's see if we can make this happen.
100%.
So if you've thought about becoming a cigar broker and didn't even know where to start, by all means, if you say, "Oh, they're never going to give me a shot. I don't have any experience," there's your guy. There's no excuse. There you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're going to check in with us maybe after the first of the year or before the first of the year.
Sure.
Awesome. Do you have any last questions?
I think when you do sort of hit the London market and you hit the UK market and that sort of market, I'll just be, I'm starting a new role in London in September, and I'm going to check out some of the cigar lounges there, so I'd be interested. Hopefully I'll build up some contacts then, and I can just say to them, let's get a box of these over here and let's pass them around, and let's see if guys want to smoke them and move away from Cubans and sort of expand their palate a bit more, and that'd be really nice.
Terrific.
Dude, you're gonna be on a mission. you're gonna be like on a total mission.
Kid in a sweet shop, and we're going into these new cigar lounges, and they'll be like, have some of these Cubans, and I'll be like, no, let's just stop a minute. I'm off Cubans for a while. I'm going to stay away from Cubans. Tell me what else you've got.
Yeah.
And then hopefully I'll be able to, in this small amount of knowledge that I picked up in the last 5 weeks, on this show especially, talking to some really top guys in the market, and I'll have tasted them. I'll have spoke to the personalities. I'll have seen their passion behind it. And I'll be like, let's just put the brakes on the Cubans and let's get something else out there.
Yeah, I'll leave you on this note, right? I love visuals, okay? Aaron walks into a cigar shop and says, I'm looking for some Cubans. No, I'm looking for some non-Cubans. Let's do that. Cigar shop owners say, come to the thing. Hold on, I got this box. Here you go. Hold on. Let me get the dust off of it. Here you go, sir. Right? That's how it's going to be, for sure. Check in with us. Please let us know how you're doing. Email
Absolutely,
me.
I will.
Keep in touch. Thank you for appearing here on Stogie Geeks.
Thanks for having
We're going
us.
to come back for the second segment. We'll be right back.